we were thinking to do a short Q&A, questions and answers. If this is fun for you.
Always. We do love dancing with you, and some have already started singing, we hear.
Indeed. We wanted to ask you why we have this kind of contact with you and other ETs at this moment of time through channeling.
It is because the frequency of your planet is rising. You are naturally walking into our dimensions, you might say, with your ascension in transition as you are experiencing right now. We have always heard you, you know, as you speak from your own heart's antenna. You have now entered an age in which the amount of people on your planet
who are capable of maintaining the higher frequency level
that is needed for us to respond in the way that we are responding now has been reached some time ago. Also, there was a thicker layer, you might say, between us. By us, we will keep it general for this explanation, the star people, and you. And the thicker layer existed out of doubt, fear, getting yourself caught in structures extremely dense, heavy energies that we cannot pierce through to communicate with you. But this has changed. Also, there was an agreement that you had, you might say, as a human race, with yourself to have no interference. Do you understand this?
Yes, I understand this.
For you have all chosen on a higher level to go through these processes that we just mentioned, to overcome them by yourselves, because you all knew subconsciously on a higher level that if you could do that, it would propel your self-esteem, you might say, to get so much further. So there was an agreement, and we still do go into communication with your higher self as a collective, the human race's higher self. We contact with that. We reconnect with it during dialogues such as these to tune into what we are allowed to give away to you.
Yes.
Things have changed. Things are changing. A lot more contact is possible now. The amount of people that is open to have this kind of, we would still call it indirect contact with us. There are many more people who can do this right now on your planet, and you are carrying that possibility together. You understand this? We see your Earth as a crystalline figure. It has its own consciousness, and all of you are connected to it and beaming outward. This heightening frequency is opening your crystals up as you are all little pieces of it, little puzzle pieces of the bigger Earth crystal, carrying her as she is carrying you. There's a lot of interaction.
Yeah.
And more than ever, some of these crystals, people have opened up to pass through and connect other people's to the energy that we represent. The energy that you are moving naturally towards with your own ascension, with your own journey into the heart. Out of the mind and into the heart. Doesn't that give the expression being out of your mind a really good energy?
Yes. A very
We
good
think so.
twist.
So, as you are traveling into your hearts and out of your minds, we are very happily joining you, those who wish to, via this way, connect with us or our energies, are warmly invited. Also, this is our natural step one, you might say, or part of step one of connecting, as it is non-invasive. And you are all free to decide if you want to believe this being what it is appearing to be. Do you understand?
Yes.
You can make up your own minds about this. And we want you to make up your own minds. This is why we are still speaking from behind the curtain of the channel, you might say.
Yeah.
This is such a friendly little first nudge, really. But a lot more will be possible for you in the future, for those who want to follow that path of the heart and tune in with our frequencies.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question, or do you want to go deeper into this?
It does answer my question, and I would also like to go deeper into this. From your side of the curtain, how does it look? Is are you using like a machine wherever you are? If a channeler wants to contact you, that is, how do you know that we would like to contact exactly at this point of time?
It's something automatic. It's like a little nudge. It's what the channeler feels when she is about to make contact is the feeling we get on our side when she is about to intend to do that. It's the same natural thing. Do you understand this?
Yes.
There will be always perfect synchronicity. There is always time for this. On this communication line, we never have to ask each other, I hope this call is convenient for you right now. Because it always is. Understand that your timeline and what we have left over, translation is hard on this topic for us as we don't experience time as you do. What's left of time for us is timing. That's all that's left of it. So the timing is always divine. I don't have to think about it, in other words.
Yeah.
It's always good. We can tune in. We are standby, but we are not waiting. Do you understand?
I understand.
Waiting is never necessary. Because we are living our lives. And if you would never have to wait for anything either. Which doesn't mean things come instantaneously, but it means you'll never be bored.
Yeah.
The idea of having to wait for something will simply eliminate from your life, as you'll be living it to the fullest so much. There won't be time to wait for anything.
I understand. And how can other people practice channeling? You said before that more and more people have the possibility. We're carrying this possibility around.
As a collective, you are keeping up such a much higher grid. It is easier for us to find you. It's much easier for us to pierce that thin veil that is still left, you see. So requests are heard very clearly. Now, anyone can make requests. We listen to how they're made, you see.
Yes.
And understand that many of you have made agreements already to be in touch with one or more of their own star family members.
Yes.
Wherever their origins are from. The only thing you would be asked to do, and understand by asking, we are not saying we're asking that. This is something you are asking from yourselves, from your higher selves to your focused selves. The only thing that you would be asked to do is to trust the divine timing. Like retrust when our channel is reaching out, that a connection can be made. But understand, there have been many times when we could not connect to her yet as we can do now.
I understand.
We listen to the tone of the asking. If there is despair, it is very hard for us to reach you. If there is frustration, it is very hard for us to reach you. We can hear you, but you can't hear us. So this is why also we are speaking about following your joy and following your heart, because the more you are in your optimal frequency of ease, love, trust within yourself, the easier we can communicate with all of you. So the wish for channeling is a beautiful one, and hold your wishes in your heart, dear ones. You are always being heard. You are always being heard. But understand, we can only communicate to you through your own higher mind. So this connection goes first, and that is your soul's agreement. If you discard that in your wish, if you think you can trespass or ignore some of your own first heart's desires, and you are neglecting yourself in your life in that sense, yet you think you can channel nevertheless, that is a harder route, we can tell you.
Yeah.
So the better care you take of yourself, the more you follow your hearts and your joy, the easier we can play with you. And often it will go this way. Often we will surprise you a little bit with the first contact. We will suddenly be in a dream with you, and you will wake up and be like, what kind of dream was that? I feel there was a significant difference between this dream and everything else I've ever dreamt. It may have been so vivid. You may have felt the love in the room. And this is why the first contact is often taking people off guard. They're not expecting it. There is no pressure on it. There is no expectation. And that is when your door is wide open. And then if you want to channel more, you will be invited, again by your own higher self, as everything moves through that, to practice yourself in lowering your guard, in being full surrender. Do you understand?
I understand.
And that doesn't necessarily mean classically doing meditation a lot, but we do recommend practicing turning inwards, because that is how you can listen to your own higher mind. Although the way in which you feel you turn inwards may be different than the standard meditation. It may be painting for you, it may be running for you. You know best when you have that inner dialogue going bright and clear and calm. And then when you practice that, these are my thoughts and I can observe them. Then you will slowly but surely start to be able to see the difference of our voices whispering to you and your own thoughts. And you'll start to notice possibly maybe the synchronicities in your life. because there's a lot of whispering going on from our side to many of you. Look at your entire creation as a book speaking to you, and you will pick out more and more all the voices that are whispering to you, guiding you, giving you little hints and clues. And in that sense, you're already becoming more aware of how you are, in a sense, already constantly channeling information from other levels of yourself. Does that help you?
That does help me. Is then the information that you or other star people would provide different than the information that we would get from our higher mind, or is it one and the same?
It aligns. Understand that if the information would differ from your higher mind, it couldn't pass through, you see.
I see.
It is like a filter.
Yeah.
If it is out of sync with what you know to be your innate connection with your higher self, your heart's voice, then it is your mind interfering. Then you know you have a disturbance on your connection.
Yes.
Then your radio is making other noises.
Yes.
That make the words from the higher dimensional levels sound a little warped. So that tells you your mind is interfering, and then you just want to fine-tune a little more, and that is okay. It is not uncommon to have some challenges with that in the beginning when you start to channel.
Yeah.
Be mild on yourself. There is no failure. Babies do not learn to walk within one day. Understand that many of the channelers you see now, and also the younger ones that are standing up right now, as the one before you, have been schooled for this mostly their entire lives.
Yeah.
They have already had a lot of contact, you see.
Yes.
But you are continuously, all of you who want to walk this path, you are all being schooled by yourselves. We can see your heart's desire, and in this day and age you are more and more able to follow that, and in a faster and faster rate, as you are surfing the wave of the frequencies that are getting higher and higher.
They are.
So even though the younger ones may have had contact their entire life, it doesn't mean that a person who never had a wish for channeling but suddenly comes up with that would not be able to channel within a year or 2 or 3, depending on how focused they are in their wish.
That makes sense, yes. So if the following our joy is the way to our higher mind, therefore if we all follow our joy on this earth, on this planet, some people are afraid that it might be chaotic, but it will not be so.
It may look chaotic to the rational mind, definitely.
So it will have a bit of chaos in it, and little
if you're
essence.
trying to make sense of it, yes. Don't try to make sense of it. It will prove itself functional. And that is a guarantee, for we know this works. And many, many of us, many of your star family members already are living this pure synchronistic lifestyle that comes with living from the heart, that comes with living in a strong and clear alignment with your own higher selves. It is the only logical thing that can happen. Look at nature. It is natural.
Yes.
Nature shows you what it is like to be in a natural balance. Well, maybe not with your weather patterns at the moment. But you know what we mean.
We do know what you mean. Yeah.
And even that, by the way, is still a natural response to all the other things that you're going through as a planet, as a human race right now.
The weather can be a reflection of ourselves.
Yes.
So can we consciously change the weather?
Yes, that is totally possible. You do need a coherency though. You need a certain amount of people who understand this, who trust this, and who bundle their focus, you see, from the heart. It isn't a mental commanding of the weather. It works as gentle, as a loving touch on the face from a mother to a child. It is with that tender attention, completely from the heart, without expectation, that you can move clouds, create rainbows and colors in your sky, northern lights where there have never been any. Your planet can be paradise when you together decide to bundle your creator powers from the heart and work in harmony that way. We can see it. This world already does exist. As all is right here and now. This timeline from your perspective exists. And some of you will see it.
So this is also what we call the shift?
That is one possible outcome of your shift. Yes.
And what do you mean with some of us will see it?
Within this physical body, within this what you call your lifetime. Not all of you will see it, but some will.
I understand. That brings me to the question, when we move into 5D and this shift is happening, who is taking our place in the fourth dimension?
Good question, because your question in itself reveals that you understand there cannot be a void.
Indeed.
In the whole. There is another planet ready to take your place, you might say. Actually, even, they're already there. As you are overlapping into fifth dimension, you are in a sense also already there. Like we just said, this future version Earth already exists. So understand that in that same manner, the next Earth, to keep it understandable and general for you, the next Earth that will take your place is also already there, ready, and living the 3/4 dimensional experience as you are now slowly moving out of. This is all very organic. Do you understand? It's all overlapping each other.
Yeah. No
one world is completely in one layer or the next. We're constantly, gradually moving along. We are, you are, everything is a constantly changing crystalline shape. Like a kaleidoscope. It would definitely be the best comparison. It is like a kaleidoscope. And if you change one, everything else therefore must change. So if you move from one location to the next, yes, another will take your place. They'll be much like you. You'll be their future guides. Humanity will grow to be their guides, and you'll speak to them as we are now speaking to you. You'll be their UFOs.
And who are them then? Are they like us, like humans, but maybe on a lower vibration?
How do you mean lower vibration?
Because if we shift into 5D and another Earth takes our place, so I guess that these inhabitants are one dimension lower than us.
Again, it isn't clear cut like that. Like we said, everything is overlapping. Yes, their frequency is lower, technically speaking. They are a lot more in 3-dimensional, 4th-dimensional experience, as you are now, because you are already moving out of it and into 5th.
Yeah.
You're in the whole way, in a sense. But there are many that already have 5th-dimensional experiences. You can actually set one foot into that dimension and pull it back out again, just to have a little taste of it. Some of you use assistance for that, you might say, through medicinal plants or other kinds of experiences to get that feeling for a moment and pull out of it again. Some of you astral travel or practice lucid dreaming. And these are all very strong tools to get familiar with what 5th dimension is a lot more like. Do you understand?
I do understand.
Does that answer your question about the new ones?
Yeah. Yes, so the new ones are actually also present here right now.
They're not locationally exact where you are now, but they are close, you might say, within your star system. And they will move into your place as this Earth is ascending. You understand?
I understand.
Yet it is a different star group, planet group. It has its own setup, you might say. Different game structure. As of course everything is unique.
Yeah.
You see. Your experience, your Earth experience, is its own story. They have a different story, but it has similar guiding lines. You'll understand that, and this is why you understand the foundation of that so deeply, because you have lived it. You're living it now. You're moving out of it. And as you move out of it, you gain the overview on it. And this is when you can start assisting others who are still feeling challenged by that.
Yeah.
You're in your school process of becoming their guides, and your own guides first of all. To become their guides, you will first become your own guides.
Yeah. Interesting.
Definitely is.
I have a question again concerning the shift.
Yes.
Will there be physical changes to the Earth?
Yes.
After the shift? And
already are happening. You mean to the planet?
To the planet, yes.
Yes.
And can you describe these? And are these related to what some people understand as the shift of the poles?
There is a connection. A lot more is in a sense shifting than the poles.
Mm-hmm.
The poles are very important parts of the planet's shift though. But the stories that you have been telling each other, and we mean the really scary ones,
Mm-hmm.
don't worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to be that crazy. The story is about this Earth stopping rotating, for instance, or a reverse that happens within 3 days and pulls you out of your spin. Not like that. There will be some thorough shaking, but it won't be that, because it would simply destroy your planet, or at least everything on it. You understand?
Of course.
So use your brain here. Your rational mind comes in very handy on this one. You can calculate that for yourself, what it would mean if your planet would actually stop turning.
Of course.
That would really interfere with your heart's calling, your group agreement to ascend now, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
This is not what you have planned for yourselves. Not on this earth, at least. But big changes will happen, yes. The climate will stir its tail a little more, a lot more. But if you follow your heart and stay with your truth, nothing will shake you out of your core. You'll be there for those who feel challenged by it. You have very divinely looked at what is possible here and how many can be there for others. And you're teaching each other lessons about things that want to be seen. As your earth crystal is much like one human being, you might say, wanting to ascend. You understand that in this wish to go to a higher frequency for yourself, you will have to face your fears. And facing them doesn't mean turn away from it. And you may feel these energies as pressing or heavy on you during your journey, right? What you call your dark night of the soul. Your Gaia is moving through layers like that. She is now really touching on the sore spots, or let's say beginning to, if you don't collectively change your focus as to what you want to do with and for your planet, as the idea is to work together in ascension, to be one with your planet. But she is helping you. She is shifting her grounds, preparing to shift parts of her to shake all of you awake and see where you can help yourselves ascend smoother, more easily, more aware. So you are given chances always. But a lot of things will be rinsed through. Rinsed clean. Your oceans will play a major part in this. Water, the age of Aquarius. Water will have a very strong message for all of you.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question for now?
That does answer my question.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you. I'm hesitating in which direction to go.
Which two are you hesitating between?
One going a bit deeper on the ocean and the ecosystem of the ocean, and one about the upcoming shift and people's being a bit impatient and how to deal with this. And this is a question more for the light workers, the people who are kind of waiting for this shift and maybe are a bit in a hurry to see it happen.
A nice synchronicity between the two options is that as water also represents emotion for you symbolically, there is this expression of the drop that the bucket that is so full that the bottom drops out.
Yes.
That's kind of what's about to happen. The bucket will be so full that the bottom drops out. Speaking of the oceans, speaking of the water, now there is no bottom that can drop out of the oceans. We understand, but metaphorically speaking, there will be so much water that what you call your foundation, your thoughts that you had about the oceans, will drop out. You can start figuring out anew what your oceanic ecosystem really means to you. What that really means to you. As a connection, a liquid connection between you and Gaia. As the emotional system of Gaia, in a sense. As you are the same percentage of water on your body as she has on her body. You are so similar. As you start taking more care of your own frequencies, light workers in particular, you will feel drawn to assist Gaia with her frequencies and her balancing out. It is the only natural result of a person living their dreams, to want to be good for the planet. It comes in automatically.
Yeah.
You will no longer want to harm other people. You will no longer want to harm your planet. You will start to care because there is room in your heart for to do that. Where if somebody is still surviving, there is not that room. So light workers, you are all being asked to use your freedom, to use the knowledge that you do already have to assist those that are not seeing that yet. If they want to get that information from you, don't push it on anyone, because that would be going against nature. Anything not with the flow is against nature. As we say this, that should give you a hint about our thoughts towards light workers being in a hurry.
Yeah.
Being in a hurry is the biggest break, no pun intended, that you could put on your path into ascension, as you are being invited to experience it in this time on your earth, with your earth. The rush is the break of it. It tells you there are expectations. The feeling of hurry shows to you there are expectations as what it should look like. There is no shoulds. There is only here and now. And if you can love the process in every here and now, every day, even if it is a challenging day, or many of them, that is how you speed up your process, paradoxically. By being in your heart. This is the highway to wherever you want to be. It is your heart. And by heart, we mean being in alignment with your higher self. Does that help you?
That does help. That was very good. We have a question about UFO sightings.
UFO sightings.
From ETs. And the question is, the people that observe them, the humans that observe them, how random is it, how coincidental, or are the people that observe them and somehow connected with the ETs in the ship?
they're not necessarily connecting to whoever is on the ship. Yet they are connecting to the frequency that these other beings and the ship are on, you see. Otherwise there would not be any perceiving of that possible in your reality. This is why a group of people can be, for instance, in a park, and some of them may see a UFO or be able to perceive one of our ships, and the rest may not, because it is in that sense individual and determined by the frequency of the observer.
Yes.
Whether it can be seen, the ship.
Are you on a ship right now?
We are with some. I am with some others.
Close to the earth?
Very.
I'm looking up now.
Not that close. Not in this area. We are in a province close to the one you are in, over your country, the Netherlands.
I think I might have an idea which one.
You let us know. What can you feel of that?
I think are you over what we call Brabant?
No.
Are you close to the Dutch border, to the Belgian border?
Much more central to your country. We are over the province of Utrecht. Between Driebergen, Soest.
That's a very precise location.
It is by choice. We are tuning in with a grid there of your ley lines. You understand?
I understand.
We've been communicating through this channel from that location a lot. We are using the energy from that portal, you might say, to connect to her, to amplify the connection, to streamline it. But we do make trips elsewhere. We're not constantly there.
And when you make trips, do you cloak your ship, or do you uncloak your ship, and the people who might happen to see it are welcome to see it?
By cloaking you mean hiding?
Yes.
We are on our own frequency. Whoever is of that frequency could see the ship.
Understand. The UFO sightings that happen worldwide, how many of those are actually of human origin, or how many of those are actually human UFOs?
Can you clarify your question?
Of course.
By UFO, we understand unidentified flying object.
Exactly.
If that was by your making, it would be identified now, wouldn't it? Human UFOs?
Yes, because there are flying objects that we do not know that we are using as humans, because they are military projects, so to say, that is not disclosed to the general population.
So you could say unidentified to the masses, but identified to
exactly
some humans.
Exactly.
And your question was, how many are there?
Yeah, how many? If you would speak in percentage, how many of those sightings are actually human-made objects, and compared to ET-made objects? Is the question clear?
Yes, we are seeing if a number pops up. we get 45%. But this is not because they are army or secret projects. This is mainly because people want to see a spaceship so badly, they still even identify your normal airplanes as such, and satellites, and balloons. So that was calculated in the 45%.
I understand.
Identified / unidentified objects from human origin. It was made one group, then 45%.
Yeah.
The wish on your planet for seeing them has never been this big. So understand that there have never been this much mistakes either. The interpretation is colored in more often by the wish than ever. No offense.
No, of course.
We do love you being on the lookout.
Could you describe your world, your home planet to us, and how you live there? Could you describe a city, for instance, if you have those?
There are no cities. If there would be anything close to that, it would be the bigger ships.
So everybody lives on ships?
Not everybody. But we don't build cities on the planet. As we commune with our planet, if we want to build anything at all, and how and where, and it is in full harmony with the planet. There are very little structures on our planet. We are outside more than inside, in that sense. We commune with nature very closely. And some of us travel a lot and therefore spend more time on the ships and other planets. There's a lot of nomadic living going on, you might say, as we travel through space.
Nice.
No cities, therefore, not even what you would call a village. Hardly. That is as much space as there is between the buildings. And every building is unique. We treat that idea of a shelter with an artistic approach, a playful approach, to have it blend in with nature, to be a part of nature. Nature continues to grow on the roof. We do not take from our planet. There's no piece of land being taken. It is always given back or blended in such a way that it would even be hard, did you not know about the location of the building, to find it. We love to surprise each other with these versions of what you call your houses.
Nice. I think we can learn from that, and maybe that is what we're trying to do more and more, also with what we call Earth ships.
Yes, and some of you already knew, and there was one artist that came very close to this principle in his work, that had connections, you might say, in dream state with some of us, not necessarily YahYel, but star family. His name was 100 Wasser. He was a architect, artist.
I know him.
He built the way we build, almost. It was close. One of the closest that we have seen on your planet that is known enough to be found by you on the internet. But there are more and more living in that style and experimenting with that way of living on your planet right now, creating little of the grid heavens. Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. The next question is it's a different topic. It's about physical pains, and especially the ones caused by stress. So we might feel like a physical block or tenseness, which is then translated into pain, and this is our understanding, at least, in that we say, this pain is caused by stress. But how does that work? Could you explain to us if that is really so? How does our stress become pain?
The pain is the translation of the body, that you are going against the grain, that you are not going with the flow on some topic within yourself, within your belief system. What you call stress is a general umbrella, you might say. That is the effect of this going against the grain. It causes stress, stress being a synonym for tension. And that causes again an echo, a reflection into the physical for your benefit, to help you see that something is out of alignment with where you want to be. You are assisting yourself by having your body reflect to you what wants to be seen. This is an inner dialogue. The pain is waking you up to look at what wants to be seen, whatever that may be. It is a translator to help you know that there is something you believe to be true about something that is, rather it seems, conscious or subconscious, active in your life, that needs your attention, it needs caring for. And once you see what that is about, you can choose to transform it. And then the tension, the stress will go, it will release itself. Yet there are some that have chosen certain dis-eases as part of their theme, you might say, to activate growth in others. For them, for anyone who experiences stress or attention or dis-ease, step number one is to be okay with where you are first, even though that doesn't feel pleasant, and we understand. It is not until you acknowledge where you are that you can move away from it. And this is more part of the theme for people who are playing out these kind of scenarios for their surroundings. And we are adding this because not everybody has planned to recover or survive a disease from a higher level. You understand this?
Yes.
Even though this may seem very hard for the rational mind, some have only come to be here a shorter while. No different for those who leave the physical through a abrupt accident or natural disaster. What we are sharing with you here is that there is always a choice. There is always a higher knowing.
Yeah.
If it would still serve you to be here, you would shift to a parallel dimension where you did survive the accident and you would come back.
Yes. that happens quite frequently.
So you were saying that happens quite often.
Yes.
And that is so. For sometimes it is that little trip to the headquarters and back that is what you came to share with others. What you learned there. Your miraculous surviving of. These make some powerful teachers, those who either recover dis-ease that seemed uncurable, or survived an accident that seems unsurvivable.
Yeah.
There are no limits. To your playing grounds, you are masters of creation. In that sense, there is no reason to fear death. You can dance in harmony with it. That's what they do, the ones who have the near-death experience. Often overcome their fear of death because they understand. And how we love your new day and age in which more and more of these people are writing books and sharing their message and letting others of you know how they have experienced that short-term shift. And it is these messengers that are also helping you prepare for your own ascension, as they are not that different. Yet you do remain in your own body, and that is a physical miracle. Every second, every moment of creation is a miracle from our eyes. But there are no other words for us to express to you how you would express it to yourself. Moving into fifth dimension is miraculous. So is dying.
We are sometimes experience physical life as a hologram, as a mirror of ourselves. We can sometimes see this or feel this nature of life being a dream quite clearly. Nevertheless, Earth is a physical place, and it is ascending. So at the same time it's a dream, but at the same time it's a physical place. And
Yes.
I'm a bit confused with both definitions.
It is both. It is both. It's already there. Your future version Earth is also already there, you see. Your dream reality and your physical reality are intertwined. Do you understand?
I understand. Somewhat.
It is just not visible to you in your, what you call now your physical reality, while you are awake, which from our perspective is while you are dreaming deeper. We see you wake up more when you sleep and dream then, than when you are awake here in your physical dream reality. But both coexist simultaneously. You need the light of the non-physical to make the physical tangible. It is what is behind all things you now perceive. It is a stage that you have created from a non-physical level.
Yes.
For yourselves to play in, to reflect towards each other and towards yourself what you believe to be true about this deeper dream. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Thank you
Thank you.
for waking up from your dream.
So it's a collective dream.
Yes. Yes. You are co-creating this.
Yeah.
And yet you are having your personal experience of it.
Yeah. But let's imagine if everyone on this planet would leave the Earth.
Leave how?
Like physically go on another planet.
By spaceships.
Yes, in spaceships. Earth would still exist. It continues to exist without us.
And everybody who was ever on it will still be on it. For we tell you now, you and every being in that sense that has ever been born on Earth and will be born on your planet is and will always be connected to it. You have an agreement with your Earth crystal. You are crystalline extensions of her.
Mm-hmm.
As the universe is within you, the Earth is within you. You are intertwined in a way that if you now believe you think you can take that away by taking your physical bodies to another planet, you will just have moved yourselves, metaphorically speaking, from your navel to your chest. But you're still inside yourself.
Yeah.
You haven't broken the connection with that. That is your Earth crystal. But we like your question.
Thank you. So we can, of course, change the state of the Earth if we dream it differently.
Yes, correct.
And therefore the pollution of the Earth is just kind of dream that we now decide that some of us don't prefer and some of us still prefer.
Yes. Yet it is a collective dream, so it is rather powerful, you see. But then again, everybody of you individually has a voice about that as well. It is this constant paradox. But it is like what we said about communicating with the weather before to you. When you choose to realign with more like-hearted, we would say, people that understand how to create from that level, the more fast you pull yourselves as that collective into the future version of Earth that is already resonating with that, and another future collective of people will be on that. Yet, because you have chosen to experience time in your linear fashion and still are experiencing that, you will need, your mind will need to be able to believe how you got there, you see. So you are still on this journey. You're still in the process of saying goodbye to linear thinking. And collectively, you have decided to have that be a process, to have that be a dance with many challenges, but also discoveries and celebrations in which you, together as a humanity, rediscover each other as the beautiful, strong creators that you really are. Because you want to dance together. You have signed up to have this be a beautiful co-creation, and most of you from your hearts, you want to do this with as many people as you can. You understand?
Yes.
So you can have this celebration experience. Whether that is a conscious or a subconscious wish. This is why you will still be going through some times of seeing the one thing, although you want to believe the other. It's the constant invitation to trust that what you imagine also already is.
Yeah.
And navigate on that trust from your heart. And you will bring it into being.
Yeah.
And that clicks in with what we said before. You will want to assist the planet. You will want to take care of Gaia. It will be the automatic translation into matter, into your 3D, 4D reality. So you might want to put your autograph on their petitions, or be a part of a movement, or start separating your garbage, or whatever you feel is your piece of the puzzle in that dance.
Yes.
Without strain, without suffering, from the heart, with joy and again trust. And she will hear you. She will feel your efforts. She communes clearer than ever with those who wish to connect with her in a telepathic manner. You can, all of you, you can speak with your planet. Does that answer the question?
That does answer the question.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So healing the earth is again, it's also an awakening process.
Yes. The one equals the other.
Yeah. And is it important that we awaken with us as many people as we can, or should we focus on ourselves?
There is a huge tone in either one of those options. You hear yourself?
Yes.
You can only be in charge of yourself. So that is where you want to begin. And then others who wish to join you will know how to find you. For as you discover your own creatorship, and when you start living from your heart, you will automatically, in one way or another, want to share the bliss of that. It is in your nature, without expectation. And those who feel the calling to assist you in, for instance, your creative project or your project to clean up a part of your planet, they will find you as you find your courage and your center to put it out there. You see, that is expansion. To share that who you discover you truly are. For you are all magnificent, radiant beings. And the more impact you have on what seems to be impact on your surroundings is only the natural echo of you being in your natural core center. And you all have that impact, but by carrying it outward, you make it visible to yourself in your 3D, 4D dimension.
Yes.
You understand?
I understand, that's very clear.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can ascension fail? Can this ascension fail?
Can you imagine it to fail? Can you?
I could if I would put my imaginative powers into it. Yes, I could.
And that is where your answer lies. You can create the idea of a failing ascension together as a collective, as the group that chooses to resonate on that frequency idea. But you don't have to. Understand, you all have free will. You would be limited if this was not an option, you see. But where you are right now, it is quite unlikely. Otherwise we wouldn't be having this conversation with you. You would not be able to hear us, and the channel in front of you would not have been able to make this connection. So don't worry about it. And for those who do really wish to go there, worry about it. Just joking with you. Can we ask you one other question?
Of course.
What do you understand as failing?
That the Earth as a planet does not ascend, and stays in the state that
in a lower frequency.
In a lower frequency.
In that sense, ascension always will happen. You have already signed up with the entire planet. Even those who worry themselves into a version of a failed ascension, we just wanted to add this to the idea, will ascend to a higher frequency, yet they won't know how to use it. That would be the failing of it. Do you understand this?
No, can you?
With the raising of the frequency of the planet, you will all be given, and you have agreed to this yourselves, a faster manifestation span.
Yeah.
If that freaks you out, you can take a very sharp corner to a direction that you don't really want to be in. You're basically upgrading your cars, being able to speed a lot harder and faster. This is why to follow your heart is so important. You'll drive where you want to go. Nevertheless, there are no wrong turns, and even taking a very sharp angle to a place that you do not prefer will wake you up and help you see where the steering wheel was again and redirect.
Yeah.
And then again, there is no such thing as failing in the end, because even if people do keep choosing directions that they don't prefer and it costs them their physical lives, then on a soul level they have chosen to experience that version of ascension.
Yes.
And there is no time on the soul level, so they are free to decide to incarnate and try it again. You see, to incarnate back in time before ascension started, in a sense. You can't quite pinpoint it that directly, but you know what we mean?
Yes.
In this time of your age, to be born again and give it another try. Yet understand that we are not telling you this to have some people not care about what happens this life, because this life is the only life you have as this person. You understand?
I understand.
So there is no failing. Failing does not exist again. And that ties in back with what we said before, unless you imagine it can fail. And then you will have the experience of failure. But there is no such thing innately as failure. It is how you judge it that makes it so.
Yeah. My other question was taking today as a starting point. Is the ascension a matter of a few years, or is the ascension a matter of at one given moment it will be instantaneous?
We are having some fun here. It is such a linear question. And yet, for some people, it will be instantaneous. And for some, it won't. Understand that you are moving through this process all in your own individual manner.
Yes.
So, there are people on your earth today who feel they have reached what they call enlightenment.
Yes.
And some of them have reached that point within themselves.
Yes.
So they are ahead of the crowd, you could say.
Yeah.
But there is no right or wrong in this. And so we cannot give you any number of years.
Of course.
To cover that span, as it is as individual as there are as many people on your planet. It is individual for every single one of them. And some have chosen not to be a part of it in this physical body. sometimes even out of love for your ascension process, those of you who will see it within this physical body. As you understand, some of the people that don't survive certain incidents are there as messengers to the collective to wake up about certain circumstances within your society, so you can collectively change them and stir them in the direction of the heart.
Yes.
And they are adding to the ascension by leaving the body. That is ascending too. So in ascension, it is happening all the time. You are ascending every moment as a human race, in many, many ways. And when you overcome a fear or insecurity within yourself, we would call that a ascension, as you have just ascended the problem or issue that you had created for yourself. And so it will take as many ascensions as you feel you need to really lighten up, to bring you into 5D, fifth dimension. And it will happen gradually. Because on a soul level, you know when it will be for you. And it is your higher mind, it is your own higher self guiding this process for you, both collectively and individually. You are guiding yourselves through this. Does that answer the question?
It's a very enlightening answer.
Oh, we thank you so much for that reflection. You just ascended a little more, didn't you?
I did. I could feel it.
Thank you so much. And that helps us ascend as well. And there is more truth in that than you can right now understand or wrap your mind around. We are lifting each other up. You lift us up as much as we can possibly lift you up. This is important for you as a human race to understand. We are equals. Do you understand?
I understand. There are many things coming to mind with what you just said.
About us being equal.
Yes. And lifting each other up.
Yes.
For me, it's like an understanding that if I'm lifted up, I'm helping you lift up further, as much as, or in reciprocity, as in if other humans on Earth lift up, they will lift me up.
Yes, correct. Thank you for understanding, for grasping that, for that is the secret. Not so much a secret anymore, but this is what you are waking up to,
Yes.
one by one.
Yeah.
The light shining from another is yours as well.
Yeah. So, I have a follow-up question concerning we have just discussed that our own ascension is linked to the state of the earth, and then when we ascend somehow, we also help the state of the earth. So my follow-up question on this is
understanding that you ascend in every moment.
Understanding that I ascend in every moment.
Okay, just checking.
I think what I'm trying to say is that our state has a direct reflection on the state of Earth as a planet, on Gaia.
Yet there is time concerned with that. It is a direct reflection, yes. Yet since you are living this space-time experience as you won't see the direct effect of that. Not as direct as you mean when you say direct.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
That's what we explained before. You do want to bring it down to earth by your actions.
Yeah.
Independently or as a group, and you will in time, in divine timing,
Yes.
see the reflections of that being presented to you, unless you insist they will be.
Yeah.
As insistence is not allowing. So trust is the compass that you want to use for your sailboat. You want to course for trust.
Yeah.
And that is again why living from the heart. Until it becomes liquid, until your reflections will become more direct. And you are moving rapidly into that direction. It will become more direct. Like we said before, accelerating higher frequencies, you will be able to grasp more in less time. Until all that is left of time is timing.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So does then
A last one.
the last one? Ooh. Last one is about enlightenment, individual enlightenment.
Yes.
Even if I must admit that I'm not 100% sure what it means. Nevertheless, is then individual enlightenment the counterpart of the shift of the planet?
You're again, if you're correct, trying to pinpoint this a little bit. Correct?
Right.
The planet that you are speaking about, first of all, is the planet that you are manifesting for yourself, you see. So, in a sense, it is always individual. You will create on that planet to be the group of people and the mass consciousness that goes with that, that is in agreement with your unique signature frequency in that moment. When you choose to be more light in your life by following your heart, you are already becoming more enlightened. This isn't a turning the light off or on thing. Like we said before, this planet and everything that is connected with it is moving into that fifth dimension gradually, even though for some people it can mean that they experience a quick and rapid acute enlightening. Yet that is a experience they have created. You can create that for yourself if you want to. Yet understand you have this agreement with your soul part, and you have certain themes that you're playing with in this life, and sometimes the idea of an acute enlightenment doesn't fit into your optimal plan. And we don't mean to make that sound rigidly. We are describing how it looks from our perspective. There is the higher part of you that had a certain theme to explore as it focused into manifestation, as you know yourself to be right now. The theme may be to overcome certain things gradually, and the acute enlightenment idea might mess that up. You see?
Yeah.
When you feel you can live from your heart for 100%, when you feel you can look at your challenges as fun experiments to solve that you have created for yourself and others to look at alone or together, when you are in that playful, joyful, 100% trust flow of your life. That is what we would call enlightenment. It would still be a cliche, because we are now excluding the parts where you feel a little less optimal, and that could be part of being enlightened. If you accept feeling a little less optimal, you see, then you're there still, nothing changed. You decide when you are enlightened. This is what we are coming to. You decide it. It is within your hands. And when you reach it through many little steps and many processes, and that has been your theme to explore it in that tempo, that is perfection. And if you reach it from one day to the next, then that is perfection for that person or for you. There are no wrong ways. It's within your hands. It's your decision to be more lightened up than you have been before. And you get the choice to make a decision about that in every single moment. That is the best way we have ever said it. And we thank you for bringing that forth, pulling that energy through, because it is important for you to hear. Do you understand it now?
I do understand it now.
Does it help you? Does it make you feel better? Does it take away the idea of some clock that is ticking, that you have to wait for until you are ready to ascend?
Yes.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much, Arjun and the collective.
It is heartfelt, received, and bounced back to you.
Okay.
There is so much love for you here. We wish you a very pleasant rest of your day.
See you next time.
Until next time, namaste.
Namaste.